All right, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and we're gonna do like a preliminary kind of review for this thing. You're probably gonna get a bunch of videos over the next few days on the Gigabyte 5060. This is an OC model, so it definitely clocks a little bit higher than like your average one, but I was just doing some 3D mark and it doesn't even recognize the card yet. On Still Nomad, I got 3,252. This here is saying that Battlefield 5 would get me about 130 frames per second. And then the graphics test was 32.52 on this one. If I go into my results or whatever, or if I do like the, say I compare online, because I did a Port Royale as well. So if I go into my results and I pull that up, the Port Royale on this, it was 8,540%. When I did this, my Still Nomad to the to my other Still Nomad on the 9070 XT versus the 5060. Let me just go ahead and tell you guys the results on that one real quick. Let me hit this compare button. So this right here is saying that it was 3,252, whereas my 9070 XT is 7,177, and that is 120% difference. And when I did the Port Royale, let me see if I can go back into my results, and then we'll just X these two out real quick. I just kind of want to give you guys this. Just so that you guys know. So if I do Port Royale, let's go ahead and add that to the compare and then slide all the way down here to the 5070 Ti Port Royale. Let me see, is that a, let's see what's the best one. 383, so we'll do this one right here, the one with the 383. That's a little bit better. So then we'll go ahead and compare these results. That there's going to give us, this one right here was 8,540 versus 19,383 with 127% difference on Port Royale. And then if we go into so this is on both the 7800X 3D as well. So we got about 127% difference just on those two cards alone. That seems pretty freaking massive when you think about what the 5060 is and what it does. So all of the testing tonight that I've been doing has been on 1080p. I have tested multiple freaking games. Here's the thing, okay? When I decided to pick this card up, it was mainly out of curiosity, kind of as a, technically a science project to see, because there's this really big emphasis on taking down 8GB GPUs. Now, here's the thing, guys. I know that, like, once you move up to a different level or something, and it's just easier to kind of look down on things. But when you have an 8GB GPU, okay, this is stuff that I'm learning every single day, going through this. And most of the reviewers, they just test like a bunch of games. I test games that I actually like to play, and playing them at settings. So here's the thing: when you're playing at 1080p, you do not need ultra settings. Ultra settings are going to be 4K textures. They're going to be it's technically, because you are not going to get the visual clarity that you would from 4K on a 1080p display. You're essentially forcing your GPU to render stuff that you cannot see. Like, you just cannot see it. You're not getting a massive difference in overall image quality. If you were on 1440p and you were like, you're going to get the best benefit from that type of, using ultra settings on like 1440p, because you are essentially getting more of like a down-sampled image, and 1440p is just enough clarity to actually give you a visual difference on that type of a, on that type. So, well, on that type of visuals. And this, then I'm going off my own eyes, what my own eyes see. And obviously there's probably some scientific way out there to prove it to you as well. Like, you will definitely get a little bit better of an image quality if you're using Ultra on 1080p, but not enough to justify the massive loss or the massive amounts of VRAM that you're going to need to be able to play that game. You're going to benefit more from having better fluid motion than you are having a little bit better looking textures or something. Now, I tested a lot of games tonight. I tested from Alan Wake 2, I tested Blaze of Fire, I tested Witcher 3, I tested, I went back and I tested a lot of freaking games. Like, I sat there and I played them for a while. I played some RoboCop tonight. I'm going to be testing some Forspoken. I might have some video in here for that as well. But I went through here and I tested a lot of games. I tested a lot of games. I tested some Star Wars Outlaws, running that game at, 100 and freaking... Look, I know that it's the popular thing to sit here and go after frame generation and 8 gigabyte VRAM buffers, going against the cost or the grain or whatever. But here's the thing, and this is what's going to matter to you the most when it comes to if you should buy this GPU or not. I personally think that something like this, a 5060, that is affordable, for the most part. Like, I mean, it is easier to acquire a 5060 at $300 than it is going to be to acquire cards at $1,000. Okay, and if you're the type of gamer that is, I would say, that you have, say you have other hobbies that you have split, you have other stuff that you want to invest your money in. Like say you collect guns, or you go hunting, or you do fishing, or you want to invest money in your car or other things. The 5060 is that type of GPU that will fit that niche for somebody like you that wants to be able to still play video games, but you're just not as committed to playing video games as you normally would be. Or for somebody that just wants to play older games. Okay, like if you want to play older games and you want to crank the visual quality up and just get super high frame rates on some of them older games, like this GPU is absolutely going to do that for you. Like, that's, somebody asked me in the comment section, why are you testing Assassin's Creed? I'm like, why wouldn't I be testing Assassin's Creed? That game doesn't, you can use upscaling, but you're better off without it. So you don't use no upscaling. You're getting a raw pixel output performance, visual quality for what this GPU can actually do. And when you're pushing 150 frames on a game like that, that's why I always test games that I love playing. Because if I can fall in love with the GPU on one of my games that I love playing, then it makes it easier across the the stack of games that I have to actually pick something out and find something. The only game tonight that I've had trouble trying to get into is Oblivion. Oblivion is a very hard game to run right now for some reason. And I tested Black Myth Wukong. I jumped in there at like optimized settings at like medium, and it still looks incredible, and it runs at like 250 frames with 4x frame generation, and it feels pretty dang good. This is a GPU that it's affordable, and here's the thing, it's like, it's actually pretty damn good. Oh man, this frame generation stuff, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, dude, this frame generation stuff is very, very, very convincing. Even on a GPU like the 5060 that is 127% less good than a 5070 Ti. Go figure. And still produces the frame rates that I'm getting when I was in Doom Eternal at 250 frames using high quality visuals, and it just looked incredible. The game just looks incredible. It plays like a freaking dream. And I'm looking at this experience and I'm like, what the freak is going on? How is this so good that I'm just like, I'm absolutely blown away. Now, it does help that I have a 1080p monitor that's actually OLED, so I get incredible image quality. So when I'm looking at that, And I'm playing these games and I'm sitting here, you know, checking these out, looking at the performance, looking at the way this feels. My friends, I just cannot bring myself to the point where I'm like, no, this is I can't get in with the whole popular thought when something like this could actually, like I could legit play on this. I could legit play on this GPU and enjoy that experience. And it was the same way back when I was testing out the 7600 XT last generation. I was just like, I was blown away. And that one I was testing on like 1440p and stuff. Could you imagine the experience that you'd be getting with that GPU at like 1080p? Like maxing that thing out and fully utilizing, you know, like you don't even need to max out the textures, guys. You're legit trying to put 4K textures on a 1080p display. There's no need for it. There's absolutely no need for it. I'm going to be testing out some Battlefield 2042. I'm going to test out some other stuff, but as it sits so far, like I've played enough games on this GPU to know that this GPU could legit make me happy. Star Wars Outlaws, man, I'm able to get an extremely good playable frame rate on that game utilizing the frame generation. It's just incredible, my friends. It is just freaking incredible how good this GPU actually is. So, all right, my friends, I'm gonna let you go tonight and get ready for some more content. This is gonna be good. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.